Hi guys, it's Chase Holmes here again with Homescape Property Maintenance. I wanted to make a video here. I know I talked about the last couple of videos, some bigger learning experiences from the harder days I had this season, but I kind of wanted to change it up a bit and talk about just the general good days and the good things, and just on a little bit more of a positive note, I think. Yeah, just do a little bit of a different recap for the season, and not talk about so much of the learning experiences from big big negotiations in terms of scope of work with customers and stuff like that, and just talk about more so the good days and the good experiences, and why my business has really made me quote unquote happier and more driven in life and stuff like that and stuff like that. So yeah, before I started my business, my landscaping business, I was working for another landscaping company. Excuse me. Not directly before I guess I kind of got laid off for the fall, and then worked for a snow company in the winter, and then started my business in the spring. But before that, not including doing snow removal for another company, I worked for another landscape company for a solid 2 years. And I liked some of the work there. I liked doing some of the hardscaping while I worked there. Didn't really like all the one guy there. A couple of the other guys were okay. Sometimes they would work with me. Sometimes they just seemed to do their own thing and not really bother to take their time to, you know what I mean. I think it was a lot to do with the company just didn't want to grow. And when a company doesn't want to grow, you're not going to be able to be the person you want to be. And furthermore, I just don't like working for people. I don't like working for people. I don't want to be a quote unquote entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. And because I was working there, and I'm not going to be an entrepreneur, somebody that can work their way up in a company. And at that time, I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was miserable. I was miserable for a lot of that second, some of the first year near the end, for sure, some days. I had some other, depression stuff going on, but we're not going to get into that. But, I like doing some of the hardscaping. I've learned some stuff with that, with retaining walls, and some basic stuff with patios, and doing the base and leveling and basic cutting and stuff like that. So I got into the machines really well. The boss there taught me, using a skid steer and a little bit on the excavator and wheel loaders. I did, quite a bit of softscapes as well, selling mulch, cleanups. I did grading jobs. We did some pretty damn big grading jobs too, which is cool. And I'm really, really thankful now, or at least I'm trying to be more thankful for the experiences and that experience that I got there. And it would have been nice if I got more experience there, and it would have had a little bit more leadership towards me while I was there too. So I would have been able to learn more, or even if I just got that extra year. But when I got let go, I was the one who basically told my boss, like, okay, I'm done here. Like, I basically quit without like officially quitting, because it was like late fall, like the season was essentially done. So I don't really want to say quit, but I kind of let myself go, we could call it that. So I was done. I had that classic entrepreneurial freak out where I just knew that I can't do this anymore. At that time, I knew a little bit that I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to start my own company. I didn't know anything about business really at that time. I knew like a couple things, and I knew that I was miserable. I knew that my boss was running around with like, chicken with his head cut off. He had too many things going on, and I was not his priority. Not even close. And so he was getting me to do all this random crap that I was not trained to do. I didn't want to do. I was miserable doing. If he got me to do like 2 or 3 things consistently that I could do well, I like doing, then yeah, that's different. But no, it wasn't the case, and so I was miserable. And in that, so I wasn't showing up as nearly as much as I should have been. My pay was minimum wage, if not like $1 or $2 above minimum wage. I think it was $1 above minimum wage. So whatever it was, $16.50 at that time. And at that time I was moved out with my fiance now, and it got to a point we had an eviction notice on our doorstep. And I'm not the only one that this has happened to, and I've heard of other people it's happened to. And that was really hard. And I knew then that like something needed to change. But that wasn't even like, there was still winter. There was still winter to go through. So yeah, there was that. So that whole winter, even that late fall, I kind of got into some business, educating myself on some business, watching some brief videos, more just so on like installation stuff, like patios and stuff like that. But through the winter, I watched some videos on Keith Kalfas. And in that like whole winter, I was doing snow for a snow company, and I'm still doing snow for a snow company to get me more hours throughout the winter this year too. I don't mind it, but yeah, I started watching Keith Kalfas, and I'll recommend anybody to watch him. He's really good, and he's inspired me to start my landscaping business and even start doing YouTube. But most importantly, start my landscaping business. He's the good reason why I am here today, where I am today in my business. He was so motivational. He basically took me from where I was at a complete hellhole, and he gets you like, you can do this. You have the power to do this. You don't have to make minimum wage for the rest of your life working for these random ass landscape companies or whatever. No, you can run the show. Not only can you run the show, you can make good money doing it. You can start getting your fiance gifts. You can, go buy your truck, go buy these tools, go out to eat every once in a while, and actually be able to afford your bills. Even just hearing that I can be able to afford my bills was amazing. And so that's what I was listening to. I was listening that I didn't need thousands and thousands of dollars to start a landscaping business. Now, realistically, capital-wise, I understand, yeah, you probably want like $5,000 around, maybe even 10, to be able to invest in your business so that you can have enough, you can have enough return on your investment so that you can eventually grow your business how you want to grow it, and you can make the profit that you want and pay yourself. I understand that all that stuff now, but in a literal sense and logical sense, where I was at, I was listening to Keith, and what Keith has went through, and where I was at the same place he was at one point in time. And so I started my landscaping business with maybe $500. And you can do that too. It just takes a whole lot of grind. It takes being completely all in. It takes being obsessed with business. It takes being obsessed with like it's going to happen. And that's where I was at. I was going to start a landscaping business. It was going to happen in the spring, no matter what. I don't care. Like, it's going to happen. This is what I'm meant to do. This is my destiny. I need to do this not only for myself, but for my fiance, for my pets, so I can feed them, so we can have enough money to feed ourselves, and then get out of that apartment, which we did, and now we're in a little bit better of an apartment, which is awesome. And like, that's where I'm at. And my landscaping business is nowhere near where I want it to be, obviously, only after my first year. I didn't make any money this first year. Don't get me wrong. Like, net income in the business, next to none. Like, no money. But I'm very, very thankful for where I am in my business. I'm very thankful for having a business. A lot of people don't have this privilege. I've had some really great days where I'm like, this is what freedom feels like in a career. This is great. Now, obviously, there's hard days. I've talked about some really hard days. There's a lot of mediocre days. There's whatever. But when I was working for those other landscape companies, or even doing snow, it's not the same. And I've been obsessed with my business, and in a good way. I love it. Some days it feels like I'm not even working. It feels like a hobby to me, and it's awesome. And I think that's what you need to do. If you want to start a landscaping business, or even if it's some type of similar service business like pressure washing, window cleaning, painting, lawn care, a fencing business. I don't know what you're trying to do, but it takes being all in. It takes accepting no for an answer. It takes accepting doing massive amounts of research and knowing what you're getting into. It takes accepting getting into the right community and having support from your family as well. Realize what you need to be able to start. Landscaping, you do not need a lot to start if you're just starting with basic maintenance like I did. If you're going to start with hardscaping, now, yeah, you're going to need probably, ideally, you're going to probably want to need, instead of $500, you're probably going to want to start off with like $5,000 to start in capital to invest into that business to be able to sufficiently get the jobs you need to be able to get the business off the ground. I'm talking about a landscape maintenance business. Lawn care is going to be a little bit more at first too. Lawn care, you're probably going to need to spend a couple grand, maybe even a few grand, depending on where you're at, what type of mowers you're going to need. Landscape maintenance business, you do not need a lot at all. Window cleaning business, you do not need a lot at all. Painting, do not need a lot at all. And that's where I'm at. And you're just going to need to figure out like what you absolutely need to have to start your business. What knowledge you need. Get that knowledge. If you need a little bit of support from somebody financially, ask them for, a couple $100, a few $100. And like, I was in a horrible place, and I'm still not, I'm not happy every day. But my business has allowed me and my fiance and for our future family to be a reality. We're much happier now. We're not fighting all the time about finances, about bills, about random crap. My head is clear because I know where I'm going. And that's building a business that's going to support our family. And it's what I genuinely want to do in life. And that's what I wish for all of you guys. You guys don't need to work at McDonald's for minimum wage, and you also don't need to become some surgeon. You can You can become a landscape business owner. You can become a landscape contractor. You can fucking do lawn care. You can start your own construction business. It just takes knowing your worth is another big thing too that we can get into, that Keith Kalfas taught me, that you need to know before anything else to do with dialing into marketing or pricing or anything. You need to know that you are worth more than what you were before you started your business and when you first started. You need to dial in that you are worth much more. Why? Because you're a business owner. You're starting a business, aren't you? So you're worth a lot. Business owners think out of the box. They're not the same as everyone else. And if you're watching this video right now, you're not the same as everyone else. I'm not saying you're better than anyone else. I'm saying that you're not the same. I'm saying that you're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. And you're going to create things. You're going to solve problems. That's what you're meant to do. And that's what I'm meant to do. I know it's hard. And I know that some days I need to solely solve problems until whatever time, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that's fine. Because that's what I'm meant to do. Thanks, guys.